think this is live. Yeah. All right. So 10 seconds in, I was going to check if my shit is working. I believe it is. Now, hopefully, you've started to hear about these mythical devices, the magic dragons. Um, Best thing to do is not connect it to your Wi-Fi because it could be a scam. Like one of these devices that literally doesn't connect to the internet. That's like saying don't connect your calculator to the your notepad to the internet. Now, in all seriousness, before we go through some numbers, which I find intriguing, let's just have a look at what it is I'm talking about. Because most likely, people, if you're new to this space, I'm not going to pay attention to the words I'm saying. I'm not going to pay attention to the words many Hexagons have said before. Pulsechainians or people even who have been around crypto for a little bit. Personally, I've been around because I like to find and hunt down scammers. Uh, when I say that, it's not so much like hunt down, send them a glitter bomb. It's more just find out things about the crypto. And then if it is not good, tell people to, and then they will hopefully either avoid it. If it's really bad, if it's just like not worth talking about, then that is also something I would most likely do. Now, I cannot seem to find why. Like, shouldn't it just, when you go live on X, it should just show you that you're like actually streaming now? Maybe if you, okay, there we go. You click on that. All right, cool. And you go like that. And you go like that. Now, if we have a look at the devices, now someone said that do not connect to your Wi-Fi, so this must be on Reddit or something. But this is the mythical device that everyone's encountering in the scary in real life world. It was the big scary iPad. Now I found somewhere that could be worth maybe $1 Australian, not including the I guess decal which was added to it, so that would be custom design, and then also of course shipping, postage and handling, etc. Maybe there was even insurance. I don't know, but from what I gather, they're starting to land at people's houses, and I'm hoping they can read English words, because if you read the English words, then maybe just maybe you might open the device, and then you might get a free like device, which I wish I could get. Now, uh, yeah, that's about it. Like I haven't got one of these devices physically. If you are encountering them, let's just put it this way: crypto, what you might think of crypto, is vastly different to what actual crypto is in my reality. So in my reality, centralized exchanges exist, decentralized exchanges exist, Bitcoin, Ethereum exist, many other L1s exist, a lot of which I'm no longer engaging with because I was not early enough into them. Yes, they still might appreciate in value, but are they really going to appreciate as hard as something that's really, really new? And I'm hoping these people, these lucky people that get these devices, these lucky people that actually get these devices, maybe, maybe they figure out what this is and they pass the IQ test and they buy some crypto early. Because imagine what's more fun. What is more fun, right? We'll share this. So people might have missed Hex when it did 10,000X, or they might have had it staked, or they might have bought at the top, or they might have just completely not even heard about smart contracts on Ethereum. I don't know, because they're all in their own little bubble, the centralized exchange bubble, or whatever YouTube influencer they're following at the time, pushing longs and shorts like leverage trading or something. Now, cryptocurrency for me, if I explain it to anyone else who's wanting to listen, is literally Pulsechain, Hex, PulseX, INC. Once you understand that core concept, then you can apply to Ethereum. You can apply it to every other L1 which you can build that doesn't crash all the time. Mind you, we have a look here at the price. Question: what was the price of Bitcoin 4 years in. Ethereum, 4 years in. XRP, Tether, not so much. BNB, even 4 years in. Solana, 4 years in. I'm not even sure how old Solana is. Whatever, you get all these people who will correct you because you're not using the right terminology, whatever. I don't really care at this point in time. I'm pointing out to you that all of this crypto shit, if you understand Pulsechain, then you understand how cryptocurrency basically exists. You will understand where the community comes from, where the buyers come from, where the sell pressure comes from, because with or without it, it's you. It is the holders of these particular devices, right? These ones here. Now, I have a question. The question is, what would be better for a chain to gain adoption? Would it be something, right, like Bitcoin? In my case, imagine you're in the early days of Bitcoin and you have a lot of Bitcoin and you're trying to decide, should I like just hold all this Bitcoin myself, watch the price appreciate, and then what? Or should I maybe give out free or tell other people about it, and then everyone can get rich together? And then later on, when the adoption does come and it goes through the roof, then what happens? Oh, wow. Yeah, okay, the market cap goes up, but then more people hear about it, and you get larger returns, you get more people holding on to it. And then that becomes cryptocurrency, hence cryptocurrency takeover, hence Pulsechain, Hex, PulseX, and INC. Now, people say, Pulsechain's never going to take over Solana, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, all this other shit stuff, right? That's fine. If you believe that, that's fine. If you don't think it's going to become more mainstream and more listed on some exchanges, if some people were to get more money, as in, I guess, the holders, because I'm not sure I'm expecting work from anyone else, but if I all of a sudden had lots and lots of money, even outside of crypto, maybe you might want to start listing this stuff. I don't know. But then again, will we get adoption? I don't know. That's sort of a few steps ahead. The current step we're looking at now is, okay, community has been built. A treasury basically exists, which is, well, it's kind of in the green, but have a look at the figure. At 87 million is a pretty decent return. May not get used. If it did get used at this point in time, who would miss out? It would be the existing holders who would benefit, which would be cool. I would be extremely happy seeing this thing pump through the roof. But if you are a very, very new holder and some of this capital gets deployed, the excess of 87 million, then maybe you might be happy about that. And your experience with cryptocurrency might be positive, and you might come to realize that cryptocurrency is Pulsechain, is PulseX, is INC, is Hex. A cryptocurrency can only move as hard as its sell pressure, as its community, as its buyer base, whether that be retail or high-end investment banks coming on board, or managed funds coming on board, deciding that they think this cryptocurrency is actually worth buying, and then they would actually buy it through a decentralized exchange as opposed to buying an ETF, which gives them access to crypto, to something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but they never actually hold any Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? I don't think that's the point of onboarding the hedgies, so to speak. Now, recapping. Again, most of you are not going to hear this. Most of you are not going to listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, and you're most likely not going to understand them, which is frustrating. But if we think about it, you go into the conspiracy, the blood moon, and what happens usually is bloodbath, like literally. And then after that, usually it's pretty good. Funnily enough, that ties into quarter 4 of 2025, which supposedly there might be a really cool bull run in cryptocurrency, whether or not it's kicked off by Bitcoin initially, or whether or not it's Ethereum, which kicks off the alts. I'm not so sure. Remember, there's a lot of stuff out there. And if you're familiar with cryptocurrency, you'll be familiar with the idea that, especially on Pulsechain, if you understand this theory, that once you have a chain and everything else built upon it, You could argue it's all taking away from the main tokens, whatever that may be. You could argue that all of this Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Tether, BNB, Solana, USD, Dogecoin, Tron, Cardano, I have no idea what that is, Chainlink, etc., etc., etc. You could argue and say all of this is taking away from Bitcoin. Bitcoin would be $1 million right now if Ethereum didn't exist, and XRP and Tether. But think about it, but then cryptocurrency wouldn't exist because all these different communities have appeared from nowhere. And what is a community? Let's have a look. A community is basically Pulsechain. And what is Pulsechain? Are basically a bunch of sell pressures or holders or community members or people like yourself or myself who bought this early or late and hold it and decide to engage with it. Because if you don't use any of this stuff, it goes and turns into a ghost chain, which is the talking point behind the meme coins, etc., etc. But then you go full loop and say, well, is it affecting you negatively, positively? It does matter, but it doesn't. What matters is adoption. What matters is people understand and hear about cryptocurrency, and they get their money, they get their dirty fiat away from wherever it is, and they put it into cryptocurrency. Now that sounds like I'm like encouraging just chucking it blindly, which you basically could probably do prior to any bull run on the cryptocurrency market. Like you could go in here and throw darts and have a look and go, okay, this is a low point, maybe buy here, and most likely it might go up. Because that has been the story of cryptocurrency. Have a look what Bitcoin has done, Ethereum. Maybe not stable coins, but yeah, that's sort of going on a little bit more than I wanted to. So basic concept, Crypto 101, right? Crypto 101 is with no community, with no awareness, with no sell pressures, with no buyers, with no one knowing about cryptocurrency. How is cryptocurrency going to change the world? And how are you going to get rich? And how am I going to get rich? How are we all going to get rich and, move towards something that could be better than what happened in 2008? And then something happened and then Bitcoin came out. I can't remember what was that. Now, I can't remember what that was. If anyone knows what that is, please leave some comments, or please just buy some cryptocurrency if you can afford to do so. At this point, it's like, okay, the price of living has skyrocketed like probably 5x, 6x since maybe since the 2019 period. And what gold was near all-time high. So if you have any gold, shiny gold jewelry, it's actually worth probably a lot more than when you purchased it, which is kind of cool, but are you really going to sell it? Anyway, so if you are hearing about these particular devices, congratulations. You're hearing about a cryptocurrency that is extremely early. It is not, you're not so early that you got in at the quote unquote ground level when the fork actually took place. However, the fact that its price is lower than it was then means, luckily for you, is going to be a better entry point. In theory, I mean, it could go down. For people that got in at that point, well, depending on where they got, what they sacrificed, it gets kind of technical. I'm trying to simplify it, really simplify it. If you had $1 and it turned to $10,000, and then you sacrifice that $10,000, and then that $10,000 turned into $5,000, you'd be sad. But then if you use that $5,000 to LP farm and somehow got another $10,000, you'd be kind of happy. And then imagine if that $10,000 then does another 10,000x. What could that mean for you if you followed that trajectory, and if you actually sold some along the way? I mean, that would be pretty good. Now, I believe if Hex does another 10,000x from current prices, it might be around the $100 mark. So I'm guessing that would be on Pulsechain. Ratio is 3-to-1. So what, $33 per hex on? Anyway, this is insane moon math. Don't worry about that. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're wondering if these are a scam, Firstly, have you actually got one? Secondly, have you opened it? Thirdly, have you put the battery in the right way? Fourthly, have you turned it on? And then you'll see that, like, what it is. Like, from what I gather, it's like a notepad. It's like a etch a sketcher. It's like a 2026 etch a sketcher. With telling you that, Pulsechain and Hex exists, and then maybe then you understand what cryptocurrency is. I don't know. Like, what's something that came out around the same time as Hex that didn't do 10,000 X's? Probably a lot of things. Yeah, that's about it. Like, the treasury is looking nice and juicy. If Ethereum hits 10K, which I foresee in the cards sometime in the future, then the treasury would be looking mighty impressive. Again, in my mind, there is a way to then disperse some of the treasury and get more Ethereum if the price goes down after something else goes up, like something, maybe Pulsechain. But then that would require selling of Pulsechain to bring down the price. But then if things start doing 10,000 X's, what is 10,000X, even though it's not held in Ethereum? What is 10,000X of $700 million? My mouth is like watering from that. That would be very high numbers. I'm not saying that would happen, but if someone had that sort of crypto out there, maybe they would like for that to happen. I don't know. Personally, I think that would be good. If I see 10,000 X's again, this time I would be like, okay, well, time to the yield. Basically, the lower, quote unquote, lower yields on some of the farms might not be so bad because price will be through the roof. It won't really matter. Once you have so much money, I don't think the problem is then earning more money. The problem is then, I guess, what to do with your time. Like, it's no longer about money. It's about how you go. Anyway, I think many people have heard this, and there would be some may be frustrated because the price performance of Pulsechain currently, PulseX, INC, Hex, etc. But if it does perform a little bit better, it might be good. And because prices are so low, like I said, around October myself, because I keep crapping on about how Q4 of 2025 is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I'm not going to buy until Q4 begins. Most likely on Pulsechain, PulseX, INC, and Hex, probably even eHex. Before we close this one out, let's just have a look at Gwei, because I've been surprised by the development of Ethereum's Gwei performance in the face of so Gwei. I don't know if you guys remember when Gwei was like $1,000 still transaction, and people were actually doing it because they're making like $10,000 to $100,000 plus dollars. It doesn't really matter. But then Gwei is currently 0.151. That is very affordable. Now, I shouldn't be talking about this because Pulsechain is so much cheaper, but when there's a whole lot of users on Ethereum, and the price is cheap, maybe just maybe it's more usable, So maybe, and then there's a whole, I don't know what happened. People would just like decided to destroy the price of EX. As you can see on the candle on the cryptocurrency coin market cap, price of EX is absolutely being destroyed. Now, should that do a 10,000x, I'd be happy. Should Pulsechain Hex do 10,000x, I'll be happy. Pulsechain, PulseX, INC will do wonderful if that takes place. INC is going to do crazy things. I don't know why, because my brain's not that clever. But if you go here and have a look at, I can't even remember what it is. P&L simulator? Oh, it's not even that. Oh, there's another one out there. I can't remember. It is not Liberty's Pampy. Pretty sure it's Pampy. Pampy. This will be the daily streams, like the same thing over and over again. Yeah. So as you can see, for some reason, when money is equally distributed, price appreciation of INC seems to go through the roof. relative to the other tokens. Now, I'm not sure if it's because there's not as many, whatever it is, because you can see there's not as many being produced because of the the thing that cut everyone was upset about, and myself included. Don't get me wrong. The yield is extremely hard to find right now. We're going into the whole rate cut thing. So everyone's theory is, everyone's hoping that quantitative easing continues again or something. I don't know. If that was to take place, unlimited buying, crypto pumps. We got the crypto president in the US, which is good. In terms of more logical approach, in my opinion, then you'll see prices go up. And the only thing I really look at is Bitcoin, Ethereum, which flow into Hex, Pulsechain, Pulsechain, and INC, right? Now, what Hex is the better Bitcoin, Pulse is the better Ethereum, PulseX is the better DEX, and INC is the better Uni token. At the moment, it's no, you can't say that because the value's lower. Okay, cool. What if one day the price of this stuff all just starts going to the nosebleed section, which some people in the community have experienced before? But imagine this happens to a whole new, I don't know, generation of crypto people who are like, nah, these old farts and their Pulsechain and Hex, nah. What if the young generation? What if new generation? What if in this new generation there's older generations and younger generations who pick up these devices? Okay, what is this? What is cryptocurrency? Then they go to this page here, and then assuming they understand what a wallet is, and anyway, hopefully they understand all of that because they've been here since early 2018 or whatever, 17, whatever. Maybe they're here. I don't think they were here 2008 because MetaMask didn't even exist then. Maybe they were here in 2011. And when was Ethereum dropped? 2017? Can't remember. Pretty sure I could go back and find some purchases, some old purchases of Ethereum. I don't know where the fuck I bought it from. Or if we've still got those wallets, I might have lost them. That would be interesting to show you guys. Now, anyway, so hopefully they understand all of that, and understand that if this was a scam, it is the longest drawn out scam I've ever seen. It is comparable to Bitcoin, because remember when they said the internet's a scam, and they said Bitcoin's a scam. Then they said, I don't know if they ever said Ethereum was a scam. Someone would have somewhere. And it's well, it's still going, so it's a pretty good scam. Maybe let's liken it to the housing market. What else? You could go through, do some moon math. I'm not going to do that because when it happens in this low liquidity environment brought about by multiple thousands of new users potentially buying itty little bitty bits of cryptocurrency and watching their bags do 10,000 X's, so they get $1,000, $100 turns to $1,000. They'll be pretty happy, right? $1,000 turns to 10,000 or more. They'll be pretty happy. Be very happy. Then you'll see some auto correction take place, but I would imagine along the way, everyone would be taking profits, and the price would go down. Oh my god, the end of the world! But then everyone will have more money, and then they'll be buying more shit. And the cycle will continue. And then you end up with another trillion tokens on this list, all brought about by the wealth created by Pulsechain and Hex. I don't understand why it's so hard, people. Mind you, I'm not a multi-gazillionaire, so don't listen to anything I say, except for that every time I've lost everything, I've actually made multiples more the next time around. So I never went bankrupt, right? But so I have a long history of losing everything. But then the next time I make even more. So I started with X amount. And anyway, one day I'll tell you the story. We shall chat over a cigar, possibly. Now, it'll be kind of hard to smoke some cigars up on the moon, though. I've heard there's low oxygen. Yeah. So and I guess in closing, this is interesting because I'm not sure how to interpret this other than what it says. So without adding any like my own twist on what I'm reading, it says they yelled at Hex to 10,000x. They yelled scam at it. They said they yelled scam at Hex to 10,000x. Okay, it did the 10. It literally did the 10,000x. I wonder if they'll do it again. Now I don't know if you just say like they just being people who said everything was a scam and they missed out. So maybe Hex will do it again. All of the hexes except for maybe the ones on those other chains, those actual ghost chains. So Ethereum W, proof of work or something. I can't remember what it was. I think it was 2, 3. Yeah, I think it's 2. Anyway, I wonder if they'll do it again. So I couldn't imagine Pulsechain doing 10,000x, Pulse X doing a 10,000x, and Ink doing 10,000x. But like I said, I hope that new users come on board and it does the 10,000x then, because then it is more fun. More people will appreciate individuals in the community that have spoken a lot about crypto and who haven't got them like destroyed by promoting other things which I don't know if they should have talked about. But hopefully that sort of can make amends. They'll be like praying and then that'll like soothe their soul because they'll bring 10,000 X's to all the people. And hopefully those people, I'm hoping those people actually take some profits and they are in a better financial position later than they had been at the beginning. Now, it would be quite funny if someone bought like wouldn't be funny, but imagine if they get this device, they spend $1,000 on a cryptocurrency and they just tanks and they go, oh, fuck this, and they sell it. Then when they sell it, it goes up like 10,000x, and they'll be like, and then we will be like, look, we kind of tried to tell you this, it's done this before. This time it took a lot longer than we anticipated. I did not think I would be like in this timeline where just living life like the way I'm living because of this. I think the price of Pulsechain is very low, and I think hopefully people aren't struggling too hard because maybe they retired a little bit too early, and they're just selling. They're called the sell pressure, and they've got a whole lot of crypto. And they're just dumping. So maybe it just dumps to infinite zero. Maybe, or maybe it goes on and does Ethereum or a Bitcoin on a sol. And then if it does that, so you get Hex at maybe $100 Hex. Now, I think someone was talking about this years ago. I think it was like, you do realize price doesn't, like 1 cent doesn't matter on the way to like $100, right? I personally thought maybe like a giant cycle, like a 15-year, 10-year cycle. It's already like 5 or 6 years in, people. Like, we are pretty deep into the cycle of Hex, and people are like still staking this shit. Wasn't there a saying, meat on the bone, and like price would go up, and like inflation, devaluation of the dollar, and the fiat fuckery that still continues, we haven't solved, and the list goes on and on and on, and yet no one cares and no one listens. Meanwhile, maybe when we all have Lamborghinis and Ferraris and McLarens and supercars, Bentleys, and all sorts of nice cars, maybe I don't know, maybe people will listen. I don't know, but some people, I don't know. Yeah, Gwei is impressive. So if you are looking at Hex, the cheapest Hex to buy now is actually on Ethereum, but you got to remember the fees and the staking function, the minting burn. Oh my god, there's a whole nother rabbit hole which I think really don't have time to do anymore. But if someone wanted to know, I could. There's many people that could teach you a lot about cryptocurrency. I would listen to the ones who are extremely rich, have who are actually rich, who have actually locked in profits. Never listen to me because, like I said, once I make my first like billion, then I would probably lose that to go on to make $1 trillion, and then I would continue on that cycle. So do you really want to listen to someone like that, or do you want to listen to someone who's like going to lock in, I don't know, multiple millions or something? I don't know. What else? I can't believe it's like what 2020. It's almost 2026, people. Oh my god. I can't help but think. I can't help but think that if you get in early, you might just like us. Like you might just like cryptocurrency. You might just like the Hexagons purely because you get mad rich. Imagine someone who's like, "What is cryptocurrency?" At this point in time, I'm going to be like, "It's Bitcoin, Ethereum, right?" But because they're worth so much, most likely Pulsechain is going to rip hard. Most likely Hex is going to rip hard. Most likely INC is going to rip hard. And if you don't know how to get any of that, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, I still haven't even used Liberty Swap, and there's a whole lot of other stuff. On ramps, Xcoast come to mind, Hedron come to mind, Com come to mind. Please give me some free airdrops from somewhere. I can't remember if there was. That was like years ago now. Look at how to provide LP, how to keep track of all your shit with like some decent software, because it's pretty fucking easy now, people. What else? I don't know, man. No, I can see why. I can see why the founder went on just like a tear and just started buying all this crazy stuff. It's like, look, you're not gonna listen to anything else. Here's like some luxury shit. And then people are like, oh, that's pretty cool. I don't know. I don't know, people. If like, okay, so let's sit back and relax and decide. So if all of us as a community just stop pressing the sell button and sent Pulsechain, PulseX, INC, Hex to the moon, right? Hex goes to $100, right? But no one actually owns it outside of the community. Everyone will say it's a scam because they'll say no one got rich except for the people who held that token. It's like that's kind of the whole point. Like, if you heard about Bitcoin early, right, or Ethereum early, and then you actually held it, like there was a mechanism to like lock it in, to hold it for like years on end, and it's worth this much now, then you would most likely sell it and become rich, and then you'd be happy, because I think it's something like $170,000 Australian. That makes a person happier if they have that much money in their account and they see that figure and they go, "I'm so happy because I've got this much money," right? That's apparent. That's a stat, apparently. I don't know, like, so whatever that is in the US and other countries. So if, for instance, a whole lot of people, new people, hear about this, maybe through a device, maybe through people talk, like maybe some crazy people jump on stream and like put their reputation on the line and their faces out there, and maybe some take, maybe some don't, doesn't matter. Maybe they get do okay, right? Then maybe people might want to emulate that. All of a sudden the price will go up. Wow, no shit. So that is the story of Bitcoin. There's a story. I can't think of anyone outside that comes to mind immediately outside of Max Kaiser that like continuously talks about Bitcoin. It's like, well, if you bought here, you'd be like mad rich now. So I can't help but think people like the Hexagons, Polskins are like going to be like that. Similar, I hope so. Like I said, there's just so much that's happened that like people talked about other stuff that just went to shit, in my opinion, and got people wrecked. It's like, well, that's not good. But maybe, like I said, maybe they can make up for it if Pulsechain just pumps, PulseX pumps, INC and Hex. But again, that's up to the sell pressure. That's up to everyone else who hears about this. Otherwise, you're not going to hear about it. But then the bad thing, the negative thing about that is, what if you tell someone about it and then it goes down? Like, oh, I want to put my life savings, I'm going to sell the bloody multiple houses, dump it all into this cryptocurrency, and then like it goes down by 50%. They will not be happy, right? And so it's like you can't win. You just can't win. So I don't know what to say. Other than Yeah, well, if you don't buy Pulsechain, you're a pussy. No, seriously. I can't. I don't know what else to like. It's like, what you just do streams? Like, all right, here's $1,000, right? I'll send it to you. Go and buy some of this shit and sit on it, and then see what happens. But then people have done that, and it's gone down a lot, like 99.9%. Bro, people are not gonna be happy. Then you'll be like, oh, okay, here's another 1,000 at a negative 99.9. Then you're down $2,000. So you can't keep doing that forever. So, moral of the story is get another job, and then another job, and another job, and another job, and another job, and realize that no one else is coming to save you. No one else is going to give you this money for free. You to go out and earn that shit. And then, if you're clever, if you're entrepreneurial, maybe you figure out a way to multiply this shit. Maybe you get a 10,000x in your lifetime. Maybe history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. You know, I know what to say. But when the founder is saying things like, I wonder if he'll do it again, full stop. I mean, that's kind of cool. This is my response. This guy, that's me eating popcorn. What is the price doing? All right, let's just check the price. On the day, how are we up 20%? Like, in what universe is this normal to be up 25%, 20% in 24 hours? That's a lot, right? So you could, anyway, if you think you're good at trading, this stuff swings violently, extremely violently. And it's not 10x, 100x, 1000x leverage. Knock yourself out, people. But wait, you have to figure out how to buy it. You have to figure out how to be secure, and you have to figure out like operational security, and then you have to figure out like what's the other word? Operational security, how to use it, how to execute it, I guess, how to make money, how to spend money. I don't know. Like that's it, right? It's not hard, but yeah. Says the guy in his basement that's like praying for like a billion X to get his 10 cents into like $1 trillion to obliterate the national deficit. In closing, Gwei is extremely cheap. So if you have stakes over on Ethereum, maybe remember to not let them bleed out. And remember that EHEX still exists over there. And remember people, that Pulsechain could do a 10,000x. PulseX could do it to 10,000x. INC, I don't even want to. Okay, INC could do it. Okay, that's a lot. Could do a 10,000x, and Hex could on Pulsechain could also do it to 10,000x. So strap yourself in, people. Coming soon, coming soon. I don't know if anyone remembers waiting the long wait for Pulsechain, and it came out, and then everyone didn't become instantly rich, and now all of a sudden there's like delayed devices being sent out, I guess, after people have whinged and bitched and whined and cried and got upset because they're not multi-bazillionaires. And now, no doubt, people have gone back to work. Their relationships would have been tested, I would say. And it's interesting to see how, I would say, who you told and what they all spoke about and how they treat you now. How there could be rumors lurking that you're extremely wealthy and then you lost it all, or somewhere in between. What else? I guess one thing I always think about is keeping track of all the fucking transactions you do. That's like me. But yeah, I still personally think Hex gave me a shit ton of freedom. And now I'm sort of sitting, twiddling, contemplating, laughing at the devices that got sent out, contemplating that. But now I'm going to go, no, I'll jump on stream and I'll talk about the positives. I'll cheerlead a bit. because I do want some positive, like some goddamn price performance, right? So there's what is the point of flooding your own bag? There's not much point. So if if you buy something and it goes up 10,000x, you would most likely be happy. If you created something and no one else bought it and it went up 10,000x, you'd still be happy, but you'd be less happy because less people would like appreciate it. If hundreds of thousands and maybe millions of people go to 10,000x, it would be extremely hard. Like, explain to me that scam. Explain to me thus far the scam where something's done 10,000x still exists. You got a copy of it, and then, like I broke down before, in essence, if people, well, plus the whole sacrifice for freedom of speech, freedom, the right to transact, freedom of movement, etc., like depending on, I guess, what country you reside in. But that aspect too, that was pretty interesting. No expectations, etc. And now we're seeing, maybe hundreds of thousands new users coming online. So what? Maybe more nodes will be running. I don't know. Maybe more. You'd say, oh, more sell pressure. It's like, yeah, maybe, but maybe like extreme price appreciation. Like, I don't know what could you say Bitcoin was the right to transact, the freedom of speech to encode, zeros and ones into a fucking Excel spreadsheet to bring up articles about failures of financial legacy systems? I don't know. Maybe you probably still can. Pretty sure on Pulsechain there's a website you can upload whatever you want onto it, like to freedom of speech, whatever. But yeah, that is my little spiel for the day. Basically, for the next 365 days, you're going to get the same me saying the same shit over and over again until it's drilled into you. You get sick of seeing me. You're sick of seeing the price going through the roof, right? You're going to get sick of me. Every day I'm going to say the same thing over and over again in a slightly different way, and I'll think I'm doing amazing when actually it's the same message over and over again. But that's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen. So bring on Q4 of 2025. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, 10,000x, right? Now let's have a look if there's anything else I'm missing. Oh, this is interesting. The people maybe are starting to hear about Pulsechain, which is good. So hopefully they land on this page and they actually see this. And they go, oh, what happens? Does Ethereum even have a page? Like, does Bitcoin have a page? How do you spell Ethereum now? Oh, what the fuck? The ether. Isn't that a musical term? Let's have a look. Crypto potato. What is this? Long-term scaling roadmap. That sounds cool. So to me, as a simpleton, if it gets cheaper and cheaper and easy to use, and Pulsechain also can have those upgrades, then I would be happy with that. That's fine with me, because like I said, people have stakes ending. They can mint their coins from today 15 years, and then tomorrow 15 years, etc., and on and on and on and on. Maybe learn how to do that. I don't know. Arguably, you'd want to you're learning about Pulsechain though, and kind of Ethereum's like a competitor. I guess if you look at it that way, it's like Coke and Pepsi. It's like, which one's better? It's like, I don't know, man. All I know is that places either sell one or the other. I don't know why that is. They got that little fucking Coke and Pepsi agents out there trying to sabotage each other. I was at the shop. I'm like, why? I want Coke. Why don't you have Coke? What the fuck? You got Pepsi. All right. Maybe that's what happens when you're out and about. You'll be like, you only hear the Ethereum bros or the Bitcoin bros. You don't hear about the delicious taste of like, Coke, because being Pepsi's being like forced upon you because you're in a place that only sells Pepsi, right? So then what happens? Huh? Then what happens? It's how the world works, people. I don't think you understand. Now, this is also good at the bottom of Pulsechain. For my brief analysis of this webpage, we have Liberty Swap, X Coast, Pulsechain. Whether you want to sort of have a look at that, Hex Scout, Gibbs Finance. Okay, multiple. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, nice little flow chart here. So you can bridge your funds in, you can swap, you can whatever. And remember, the cherry on top is the old Hex. Oh, it's a bread and butter. It's a cherry on top. I'm not sure. But I guess it depends. What we do for a living. We got Pulsechain. Everything's green, which is good. I think I'll end it here because I'm actually just been talking to myself. Let's have a look. I don't think anyone's even here anymore. I mean, I am unsubscribed to everyone, so it wouldn't surprise me if everyone's unsubscribed from me. So that's fine. That is fine. To onto others, let's have a look. Also, I tried to talk about other things, not crypto. I don't think people care. I think once we get rich, then we talk about that. Until then, we'll just argue amongst each other anyway about, I think I like this M&M better, or I like that M&M better. Or this Skittle. Guess, was it Taste of Rainbow or some shit? All right. T-shares, yes. People need to understand T-shares. What else? Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting that there's a slight uptick in Pulsechain. More people are hearing about it. Devices coming out. There's some talkings, rumblings on Reddit. People are actually physically getting the devices. Maybe, just maybe, they understand 10,000 X's. I'm not going to say imminent, but they could be coming. And if they do, maybe you would want to be on board with that. Maybe you would like that. Maybe you'd appreciate that. Maybe you would look back and go, well, I wish I bought some Bitcoin early. I wish I bought some Ethereum early. Imagine if I had, what is it, 10,000? They was divided by 10,000. So if you had, what's that, like 10,000 Pulse, you had, say, 1 ETH. So say you've got like, 100,000. If I had 100,000 Pulse, say I bought 100,000 Pulsechain, it would be like going, well, back in the day, I wish I bought 10 ETH back in the day when it was like under $100, and now it's worth like $4,000. That would be cool if I just wait for a little bit. Well, I'll wait for a long time, mind you. But imagine if I just had it for so long and just sat on it and then made a node and produced more of it. And then later on in the future, maybe it's worth something. I don't think people are going to understand that though. Because, I don't even think they understand where that number comes from. Unfortunately, no one knows what it is. Now, thank you for whoever is watching this. I think it's just my own channel viewing it. It could be the upload to Odyssey. I think it's backed up on Odyssey, possibly also on Rumble. There's a clone. But yeah, all right. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I got to say. Good luck, people. And if 10,000X does happen, I will not. I'll probably lose it all again. All right, free speech signing out.